G'day fellas, and welcome to A Casted Game. Spawning in on the east of the map, you will know him as one of the greatest StarCraft 2 players to have ever lived. It is Serral, and he is going to be playing the Rus, his opponent, who spawns on the opposite side of the map. It is Demuslim, and he's going to be playing the Chinese. Now, let's talk a little bit about these two players, both hailing from StarCraft 2, both being quite prominent players. Demuslim probably peaked a little bit earlier than Serral. Serral definitely coming through a little bit later. Now, Serral is a foreigner. For anybody wondering what a foreigner is, I've explained this before with StarCraft 2, but essentially the competitive scene in StarCraft 2 is divided up into two camps. The Koreans and then the foreigners. And that's simply because the Koreans are so damn good at the game. Serral's actually one of the only foreigners that's actually able to go head-to-head with the Koreans. So he's an incredibly good player. He's moved over now into Age of Empires 4. And in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you will be able to see their rankings because we have this absolutely beautiful overlay. So I'd love to know what you guys think. If you like the look of this overlay, let me know. So you can see up there right now, Serral is ranked number 20. He's playing on the Rus, and his opponent, Demuslim, who is ranked, I think it's 117, a bit hard for me to see, but he's going to be playing the Chinese. So obviously, I'm rooting for the Chinese here. You guys know I do love myself a little bit of Chinese. So that is something I'm especially going to be looking forward to. Now, keep in mind, I'm still going to be getting used to using the full overlay. I normally just use the hotkeys, so I'll probably be looking to use that a bit more as well. But we'll talk a little bit about this map and about the choices that the players have made with regard to civilization. So it's a good map for Serral. First and foremost, it's a big map, and that's a good thing for Rus. Rus like big maps because you get more wolf spawns and consequently more Gaia kills, so higher bounty. But by the same token, it is a bit of a turtley map. So you can see that there is obviously these large and in charge cliff faces. There's a few ways to get into the base. Normally 3 is what you've got. One over here, one down this way, and then obviously one at the front. Now, speaking of Serral's base, he looks like he's had a pretty fortunate spawn in that he's got a second large gold mine. Both players have got large gold mines in their base, but Serral's actually got a large gold mine right at the front of his base, so he could probably wall that right there and still safely mine that, come inside if ever he needed to. So a very nice spawn there for him. On top of that, as we mentioned, it is a large map, so there's going to be more wolves that will spawn out here, lots of sheep on the map as well, and more berries as well, so both players having 3 berries in their base. And then they've got a special extra one that's out on the middle for them to go and collect. So let's talk a little bit about Demuslim, what we can expect from him. So once again, I would expect to see some sort of walls out of Demuslim. He's got a very nice opening towards the middle of the map here. This is great. It's not impeded. There's no forests around it, which make it very easy for him to sort of come out here. I would expect that we might even see him look to put down his Barbican here, so the starting landmark. But he's actually going to be going with the Imperial Academy. So this is the first time I'm watching Demuslim on the Chinese. Now, for some reason, I don't know exactly what it is, but there is a lot more Chinese on the ladder. There used to be almost no Chinese on the ladder, but now it's gone absolutely crazy. I don't know what's happened, but I've been watching streams for the last couple of days, and there's just been China non-stop. So I don't know exactly what's happened, whether I think maybe because of the Springald meta, like obviously that sort of pushed France back a little bit, and with France being pushed back a little bit now with the Springald meta, it kind of opens up for civilizations like the Chinese, which have a bit of difficulty in the early game against any sort of aggression, but they're quite good going into that Springald meta because they actually make the best Springalds in the game. Well, that's arguable, Drongo. The first thing is that they make the highest HP Springalds in the game, but not necessarily the best in the game. So the Rus actually get, in my opinion, the best Springalds in the game because they get 13.5 range. So the 12 range of the Springalds for the Chinese, even though they've got more health, they're going to get outranged and they get out-concaved by the Rus opponent. So it's really going to be battle of the Springald in this matchup, I suspect. And that is what we've seen throughout the last week or two developing after Genesis. People have really caught on to Springalds, and hopefully we can be expecting to see some nerfs coming in for them soon because it is a little bit, I would say, toxic for the meta at the moment when it comes to Springalds and the way that, you know, people just sort of play with Springalds and Springalds only. So who knows, maybe we see Springalds here, maybe we don't. One of the things that I've been doing in matchups where my opponent makes a lot of Springalds, so that's like the Mongols or the Abbasid dynasty or the Rus even, is I actually like to go for these cute little stone towers. So what you can do is, in Age 2, you can actually make stone towers. I didn't realize this, so they cost 200 stone. But to build them, you need a stone wall to put them on. You can't just put them out anywhere. So what you can do is you can just get, say, like a stone wall segment right like that, and then just put the tower on it right there. And if your enemy tries to come in and siege you from here with like a battering ram or anything like that, it's just going to fire. And you can get those in Age 2 as well. So you can get like the, what are they, like ballistas, or not harpoons, but the springled the stone towers, because they have one sort of innately or naturally. They just have one. And they're also really good for using, for controlling area. So let's say if your enemy was like trying to push you in here with some springalds or trebuchets or something like that, you can just put some up here. So just put like one down here and then one up this way. And they're just so good for controlling that front. Obviously with trebuchets, it makes it a little bit different. But anyway, we've got Dumuslim now going to be dropping down his second town center. And got a few villagers on wood still. Scouting out his opponent. He's going to be looking for that all-important stone. But keep in mind, he has spotted out that his opponent, or at least he should be able to spot out that his opponent is going to be dropping that golden gate. So he may at any time be looking to drop a second town center, but he has spotted out the stable as well. So maybe a bit of early aggression. Got the professional scouts in. He will spot that. Still doesn't see the golden gate yet. But I'm pretty sure. Okay, now he spotted it. You can basically expect that your enemy will almost always golden gate when you're playing Rus. Golden Gate is just such a good landmark. It carries throughout the entirety of the game. The Kremlin is a good landmark as well, but it just pales in comparison to the Golden Gate and how strong it is. I think the Golden Gate probably needs to get nerfed down a little bit. At the moment, a favorable trade is 150 gold to 100 of the trading resource. So I think maybe lowering that down maybe to 140 might be a good start, just to sort of bring that in line with where we would expect it to be balanced. But that's another discussion for another day. Serral now going to be scouting out the walls being placed down by Dumuslim at the front of his base. Going to be calling out and saying, hey, we spotted his walls. Dumuslim going to be walling up the bottom side as well. Not the top side, though. Nothing yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for like a little bit of a weird wall up this way instead of just one across the top. But we'll see. We'll watch how he does that. And now Serral looking like... So this is pretty much the standard build order that people have been doing. So professional scouts for the Rus. Straight into... the professional scouts straight into a fast castle. And then going up with the Abbey of the Trinity, looking to secure all of the 5 relics on the map. So you can see we've got one here, we've got one up here, we've got one over this way, one in the middle of the map, and of course we should have one more. Here it is. So all 5 relics. And the idea behind the stable is, and this is really smart as well, you get a single early night out, and that's going to help you kill the boars. So you're just going to go boar hunting with the knight, and that's exactly what he's been doing, and picking up the bounty. You can see he's up to 460 bounty at the moment, and he's able to click up through the assistance of that, because that provides him 75 gold by doing that. So he's going to be looking out for the next boar. That was the first one. Where's the second boar? Actually, oh, there it is. It's in the middle of the map. I was going to say, is there no boar that spawned here, the second boar? You know, I actually played a game the other day on Mountain Pass, and the boar spawned under my town center. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I lost the game. I wasn't, you know... It wasn't that much of a blessing to surpass my terrible skills, but it was still pretty cool. It literally, like, my town center was here, and the boar spawned, like, right there. I was like, okay, I guess we're going boar. And that was the opening. So let's take a look at what Serral's up to. So definitely going to be going the Abbey of the Trinity, as we would expect here. The Great, I can't remember exactly what it's called, the Great Hall, the Great House, the Great Tree House, maybe that's what it's called. It's a good landmark, but... When you compare it to just the Abbey of the Trinity, the reason why it's so strong is just because it allows you to get that early economy going. And once again, we see Serral doing a great job here, just kiting around, doing some cute little micro. I don't even know why he's dropping the deers there, but it's going to sort of carry him. And there you see that 75 gold coming out. Going to be hitting that max bounty just before 9 minutes as well. So he'll be very happy with himself for that. That's a very nice cleanup. So let's take a look at the build order of his opponent. So Dumuslim, double TC. It's pretty standard here. He's gone with an Imperial Academy. Doesn't look like he's gone for a Dynasty at this stage. So his timing here looks a little bit slow, 9 minutes. So relatively slow timing for his age up now. So going to be going up with the clock tower. Where does he put it down? It's got to be within the influence of the Imperial Academy. So I would be going maybe somewhere right here. I think that's a good spot. Perfect. That's looking good, Dumuslim. I'm liking it. So I don't know exactly what Dumuslim's experience is with the Chinese. Speaking of Chinese, there we go. He did get that nice little wall in. So walling in the stone, that's the correct choice. This is a really nice stone deposit, and you want to make sure that it's in the safety of your base. So yeah, correct decision. So what can we expect to see out of these two players? So Dumuslim, I'm expecting we're going to see a lot of Springalds from Serral. So the difference with Serral in this situation is he's going to have a lot of map control. That's going to be his primary thing. So first and foremost, through his map control, obviously his enemy has walled in. So second thing is that he's going to be able to gain map control through his warrior monks. So with the warrior monks, he's going to be able to pick up all of these relics. Ideally, he wants to pick up the ones closest to his enemy's base first, just to avoid them being picked up. Now you can see he's actually had a pretty unfortunate spawn with the majority of the relics around his enemy's base. So I would hope that he does that rather than coming up for this one first. But we'll have to see exactly how he plays it, where he goes, what he does. Looks like he is moving out across the south of the map now, so maybe coming down to the corner here. But his opponent, DeMuslim, is going to be scouting this one out. He's getting out multiple warrior monks. And keep in mind, once you do actually capture these relics and bring them back to your base, and keep in mind you are running at a very fast speed, 1.62, compared to the 1.0 of most monks, you're then able to go capture the sacred sites. So you can get 500 gold a minute and then top it up with another 300 gold a minute. So you know, even though Rus has only opened one TC, he has actually dropped a second TC behind, so trading out. So you can see he's got nobody on stone at the moment. Hasn't even probably taken stone. Yep, no one's even touched stone yet, but he's just done some trade here for the stone. Really, really nice play for the Rus player there. Cyril going to be spotting it in, and he's continuing to bring in these hunts. So this is basically the perfect or the dream Rus opening. If you're wondering as a Rus player, you know, you're up and coming, that sort of thing, what's the build order for you? This is it. This is what we have been seeing Rus players take over the ladder with at the moment. So the meta is continuing to develop at the moment, and it's very interesting to see because, you know, when I did my very first video, one of the things I said is that Rus is the strongest civ. I said Rus is S tier compared to all the other civs. And then that changed, you know, France became the strongest civ, and then that changed again with Mongols becoming the strongest civ, but now, once again, we're continuing, despite there being no patches, to see the meta continue to shift, continue to develop, and now Rus are coming into favor again, just because of the strength of this strategy. So how does it work? What is the strategy? The strategy is just going up with the Golden Gate, and then getting professional scouts, going only about 2 or 3 scouts. Just get your own hunt in first, and then go steal your enemy's hunt after that. So that just guarantees your food supply. You're going to have food until like 24, 25 minutes, because you're going to be able to go and take these ones eventually as well. You can see he's got 12 villagers on food. That's all he needs. He doesn't need a lot more than that. And then behind that, he's going to go up to the Castle Age, up with the Abbey of Trinity, get these warrior monks out, and then start taking map control with that. And that's really going to enable him just so much. Now Imperial Palace going to get dropped down here by DeMuslim. We are going to have some seriously speedy Clockwork Springles. So these are 1.2 movement speed already upgraded. So they are going super duper fast. Actually, yeah, they are. And so this is going to actually buff them up again. So he's going to be heading into a dynasty with this. Now, you guys can't see the dynasty, but I can tell you it's going to buff up the speed. So now they go 1.38 movement speed. So these guys are going to be some speedy boys, that's for sure. You can see how fast they move. They go faster than men-at-arms, faster than a spearman. They go faster. They're almost as fast as a knight. 1.62 movement speed. Jeez Louise. I never even really thought about doing that. I'm just always so into the Song Dynasty. It never really bothers me. But now he's going to be moving those Clock Tower Springlets up towards the north, and this is going to be repelled almost certainly. There's just, yeah, not a lot you can do. So now we can see the mix beginning to come in. So it is Horse Archer combined with the Knights. So this is a very potent combination. So Horse Archers are a very strong unit, but they're not very population efficient. So once you sort of get into the late game, they become less efficient just because of how cheap they are. They're still a very good unit though. A massive range as well. They do have a great Imperial upgrade. We'll take a look at the archery range so I can show you guys that. So they've got mounted precision. So it increases the range of Horse Archers by 2. So you can see that they've already got 4.5 tiles of range. That goes up to 6.5. That's basically a longbow on a horse. It's freaking wild. But just keep in mind that they are very low HP, only 85 HP. So you do need to be aware of that when you've got them out. One of the YouTube comments that I read, it said, hey, Drongo, whenever you say cognizant or you want to say cognizant, just say the word aware. It's much easier. It's much better. And so I'm probably going to try and say cognizant a lot less and start saying aware a little more. Warrior Monks now down here capturing sacred sites. So we've now got a sacred site victory beginning at 14 minutes and 30 seconds. Probably going to be ticking off or counting down. So we'll go over to the sacred tracker. It's not going to tell you how long. At least I don't think it tells you how long. I think you just have to... Yeah. All right. So there it is, 14:34. So our timer is 24 minutes, 34 seconds. You know, the UI doesn't say it for us, but that's okay. You know, we'll make do. We'll switch it over to income per minute so you guys can actually see what these players are making at the moment, where they're sitting at. Cyril a little bit higher than DeMuslim, and he's going to continue massing up his units at the moment. A lot of infrastructure back here. He's also got double production from his siege workshop, so going to be going for double Springald. I would like to see either of these players head towards Imperial Age. I think in this position, the best thing that either player can do is go to Imperial. So the reason why Serral would want to go to the Imperial Age is so that he can get access to the High Armory. So by advancing to the with the High Armory, he can then increase his Springald range by 1.5 tiles, and then you can stack Roller Shatter triggers on top of it, which is another 2 tiles, so you can get 13.5 tiles, and you can really outrange your enemy with that. And by the same token, with Demuslim, what he can do is, if he goes up to the Imperial Age, he'll get access to the Bombard, but then on top of that, he gets Pyrotechnics, which is his unique technology, and that gives him an extra 2 range on his Bombard, and that makes it very, very capable of dealing with enemy Springalds. And that's really the way I've been dealing with enemy Springald masses at the moment, just been going fast Imperial. It seems to be working in almost every single matchup, and I'm not even kidding you when I say fast Imperial. Like, there's a little bit of a delay, but like normally hitting fast Imp about 16 minutes. And so now we can see that the push is beginning to come out. He should be able to hold this off, but keep in mind, okay, the ball is in Demuslim's court at the moment. Serral holds control. He's got 3 sacred sites at the moment, so he is a happy camper, and quite literally a happy camper. He just has to camp. He is very happy. He's got all 5 relics. Well, at least he's got all 5 relics, so 3 in the Abbey, 2 in the Monastery, so he's got 500 passive gold coming from the relics. He's got 300 passive gold coming from the all-important sacred sites. And now it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a push. Demuslim going to begin pushing out. And take a look at this. We've got some naughty little walls coming in right here from Demuslim. These are very, very cheeky. So it's almost like what game is he playing right now? Like, I can't think of it, but is it like Dota? Like Defense of the Ancient? Like tower defense game? Is that what he's playing? Like, can you see that? Like, obviously he knows that his enemy is going for a cavalry-based mass. He saw earlier that his enemy was going for Lancer, no, for Knight and for Horse Archer. Do we have him actually push this off? I don't think he's going to be able to hold this. Yeah, that is a lot of units. I don't think he's going to have to run back if he doesn't want to lose these. Springalds on the back line as well going to be firing off, and he does actually move back so fast. 1.858 movement speed there. He's actually almost as fast. He could probably even outrun these Knights, and now you can see them all trying to get back behind these gates, managing to do it. He gets behind the gates. He's actually being so cheeky. Look at this tower defense right now. This is insanity. This is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Springald meta. This is it. This is how it begins. This is how it ends. This is the Springald meta. This is the epitome of Age of Empires 4 1.0. You know, when we look back on 1.0 in, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, oh, the patches through the ages, you're going to remember the Springald. You're not going to remember the French knights killing your villages at 6 minutes. You're not going to remember the Mongols double spawning lancers and men-at-arms. You're going to remember just Springalds, because right now they are just so damn good, pushing up to that second wall that they've created. More Springalds. Now, take a look at the HP difference between these two. 200 versus 300 HP as we head into the all-important mode. The cinematic mode, that's what it's called. Now, with these, he should actually be getting, he is indeed getting the Springald upgrade as well, so we can see the emplacement coming in there. Look how much damage gets put out onto those. And keep in mind, Springalds don't do a lot of damage to buildings. I think they do 10 damage a shot to buildings. Yeah, 10 damage a shot to buildings. So 100 shots is going to take out this outpost. Keep in mind, a couple of villagers come behind and heal that bad boy up, and he's going to be fine. A Scout coming out, bringing out a little bit of an offering right here as well. So Scout now going to be coming out with his trusty deer on the back. Hopefully he doesn't lose that. Hopefully it doesn't go down in battle. But if it does, surely it will be picked up by the villagers of Demuslim. That is for certain. Score's looking pretty even at the moment as both players now begin posturing over this middle area, looking to see if they can potentially find an angle here. I'd love to see a couple more gates coming in here from Demuslim because he's got a single gate to go through, and as you can see, it's a little bit tight there. It's a little bit tight. We probably need a few more gates there along the line. Maybe just one more. Give us one more gate, and I think we'll be fine. Oh, now we got to keep coming down. So Serral is now putting the ball back in the court of Demuslim. So Demuslim definitely had it in, or was putting it in Serral's court. He's pushing out, continuing with this push. I love the way that he's got the walls arced out towards the sides as well. But now, once this comes up, this keep comes up, well, then Demuslim's kind of stuck. He's got to mix in trebuchets. And this is what I really love about keeps, is because trebuchets are so damn expensive. But speaking of trebuchets, we'll get onto the superior siege weapon in a little bit while we talk about this fight that continues to unfold right here. Villagers on the back line still just trying to tap this one up. So, how much does a keep cost? It's 800 resources, okay? And how much does a a trebuchet cost. Oh, would you look at that? It's 750 resources. Wow, that's really close. But how many trebuchets does it take to get rid of a keep? Well, if you got one trebuchet, you're going to be there all bloody day. You're going to need at least 2, probably 3. So you can get some insanely good value out of a keep. Just by putting it down like that, you can see his villagers on the back line. They're just going to be healing it up. He's getting the Springald emplacement on the top. He's very happy right here. And keep in mind, I think we're working towards that 24-minute mark. We'll listen out for those gongs. That's what we'll be listening for. Here, listen. Oh, don't you love that? Don't you love that? Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to ride along. I'm going to try and ride along with the next ball. Here we go. We're going to try and ride this one. The next rock that he throws. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody on board. Oh, there it goes. We missed it. God, that goes up quick, doesn't it? We'll try. We'll get this one. We'll get this one. Don't worry. All right, here we go. This is it. This is the one. I hope all you guys are ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's too quick. It's too big. That's what she said. All right. So Dumuslim continuing now to apply pressure. And you can see just how hard it is for him to work through this, having to get a second trebuchet out. Now, keep in mind, okay, these resources, a third trebuchet coming out right now. These are resources that he's had to invest in trebuchets while his enemy has been investing in army. All that he's done is just put down, all that Serral's done is just put down a keep, which is what makes the keep so damn strong. It's an incredibly strong building to have like that. And, you know, he's brought out more villagers now just to heal it up, because the longer he holds this, the longer he's going to be able to hold the middle. Thank you, Drongo. That was impressive. That was a great statement of fact. He needs to hold this so that his opponent can't push out. Because if his opponent begins to push out, you can see he's actually researching boiling oil. If this gets off, these guys are not going to be long for the world. They're actually moving towards the sacred site now. If they get close to that keep, and I promise you when the battle begins happening, they will get close to that keep. Dumuslim now in a little bit of a difficult spot as the units from Serral begin to gather around. We see that single scout with a carcass on his back continue to push in and going to be trying to secure the sacred site, neutralizing it now. Dumuslim looks to commit, but the boiling oil comes out, hitting quite a fair few of those palace guards, and now Serral really capitalizing on his position, continuing to heal up that castle, and this castle is really making all the difference. 3 trebuchets continuing to hail down on his opponent, but look at all the Springwoods stuck behind the walls. They're not able to come out right now. Those are a little bit of, how would you say, what's the best way to say it? Introverted Springwoods? I think that's probably the best way to say it. And that's not because they're upside down, that's because they don't want to go outside. So Springwood's now going to have a bit of a difficult time as they sit behind these walls, just trying to find somebody to fight, trying to find someone to fire at. And now that all of the Serral Springwoods are going to be focusing down those palace guards, really, Dumuslim needed to get up to age 4. If he got up to age 4, just a couple of bombards out, going to be able to slice this bad boy right open. But unfortunately, trebuchets are not the way to go in this situation. It's so difficult. You can see the trouble he's had with it. You know, the crazy part is he just gets another one down immediately after. It's going to be difficult for Dumuslim to really hold here. He's trying his best, though, down about 400 score, and Serral, I suspect, isn't going to have too much trouble, even if his enemy does push out. Keep in mind, the Springwoods from Serral have got lower HP, but he does have a significant mass compared to his opponent, so he's going to be able to continue just... You hear that bell that just went off, and Serral reaches age 4. That bell was signifying there are 3 minutes left in this game, so 23:20 is the game time. So at 26:20, the game is going to be over unless Dumuslim actually takes this sacred site. Is this the counter to Springwoods? Is sacred site the counter to mass Springwoods? Because I feel like he can't really push out. He can't push in. Like, Springwoods are really good in lower numbers, but once you start getting up around this mass, it becomes so difficult to manage them because, you got, how many Springwoods is this? This is like 22 Springwoods. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of Springwoods. That's a good amount of Springwoods, but your enemy's just going to be able to push up on top of you. Speaking of on top of you, Keep now coming down on top, as Serral now looks to begin pushing in as well, and this is what I'm talking about, you know? There's just so many units coming out from Serral that I feel like Dumuslim's not ever going to be able to push out of his walls. He's got about, what, 2 minutes left now until that sacred site victory happens. We can see that there are units now heading down towards the south as well, looking to potentially get some action, but actually Serral's going to be using a treb up here just on these walls. Very, very sneaky. And now moving back towards the sacred site, going to be fighting off a couple of these warrior monks. He wants to make sure that this survives, and all the reinforcements now going to be coming in. Dumuslim going to be trying to clean it up as the Springwoods do manage to get out. So they have worked their way out. The trebuchets on the back line are going to look to try and get some connections, but keep in mind they are very ineffective against units. And now Serral in a great position as he begins to flank his opponent. The sacred site begins to tick down. We haven't heard any of those gongs coming off just yet, But we are at 24 minutes and 53 seconds, so I suspect within the next 20 seconds we'll hear a triple gong. There it is. That's 1 minute remaining. The triple gong has gone off. 1 minute remaining. 26 minutes is when it goes. Apparently, 1 minute until Sacred Site victory. It's there. So Demuslim needs to push now or never. He needs to bring villagers. He needs to bring everybody. Just all of these villagers need to come out right now. Get out onto this Sacred Site. Have a dance party out there. Just try and survive, because you will lose the game if you do not win right here, or at least do not win this push. Cyril now going to be trying his best, getting in on the Springalds on the back line. Opening up with those Horse Archers, doing a pretty decent job as the Palace Guards manage to get on top of the enemy Springalds. But now Springalds going to have to fall behind the walls, and Cyril's looking like he's probably going to take this. I don't think that there is any way right now that Demuslim is going to be able to capitalize on this situation. We don't hear any more gongs. Cyril's looking really good as we enter into the final seconds of this battle, undoubtedly. And now those just continuing to rally in all of these Springalds over and over and over again. Now moving out towards the Sacred Site. He could make a final push here. He needs to go out now, Demuslim. He knows, and good game gets called, ladies and gentlemen. That is the game for you. A Sacred Site victory turns out to be an effective counter against Mass Springalds. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed this cast, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.